put that together, and he made me a lot cooler than I probably really am. But anyway, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. So, a couple top acts to follow here. I'm used to coaching people in the realm of fighting, and so I was going to share some of my experience with you guys, hoping that that will translate to what you guys need to do, because it's very similar what we're trying to accomplish. Whenever you have a dream, whenever you're trying to achieve greatness, the steps in the formula is kind of the same. It doesn't matter if you're, trying to be the best at bingo or business or fighting. The things that you need to succeed, those tools are pretty much universal. So, just like was mentioned before, those steps, those things that you need to follow, those are the things that are principles that I try to implement in my training. So as you can see in the video, there's a lot of demands. That's a typical day of training. Some of those exercises and things that you're doing, that's happening daily, several times a week. And so, you guys know how great the products are. I don't have to tell you, but taking those products do in fact help me achieve that. But it's the work that you have to put in to get to that spot that you're trying to reach that really is important. Nothing great happens by sitting around doing nothing. You can't achieve greatness being muddled in mediocrity. You have to go out there, you have to put the work in, and it may take a lot of time. That was something that was a tough pill for me to swallow when I first got into the sport of MMA. Are you guys familiar with MMA, mixed martial arts? Yes. Mostly? Okay, so I don't have to explain. I mean, you kind of got the gist of what's going on there. As it was said, it is probably one of the toughest sports activities a person can do. It's you versus another person using basically just what God gave you to try and best them. So that's part of the draw to me. It's one of the purest forms of competition. But we all compete in certain things. So it's very applicable to everyone. It's accessible. You can relate to it because we're all fighting for something. So those demands, putting in that work, it takes a while. And it doesn't come overnight. I've been training and fighting since 2008, and it's been a very, very slow process. But I knew that it was going to take a while. It was going to take hard work, long days, 12 hours a day training, a lot of sacrifices. But because it is my dream to reach my highest potential, I'm willing to do that. And it really doesn't seem that much like work. I'd be lying if I said if it was easy every day. It's not. Getting punched in the face, pulling trucks, climbing mountains, it's hard sometimes. But that overall dream, that goal that I'm trying to achieve, that's what pushes me, that's what motivates me, that's what drives me. And it's taking years of that to really start to gain traction. And that's kind of what I want to impart on everyone here, is that you have to be willing to put in that kind of work. You have to be willing to climb a mountain, to spend hours a day sweating. Maybe you guys won't sweat so much, but I have to, because that's just the nature of what I do. But you get the point. It requires a lot, and so you have to have that commitment, and you have to have that expectation. Finding your dream is important, and you guys have found it. I've found it. It took me a while. I always wanted to be a professional athlete. I wasn't quite sure what avenue I was gonna explore to get there. I thought professional football, but I realized pretty soon that 5'7" was about my limit. And, they don't have a lot of need for those guys out there. But I just knew I was destined to do something in that realm, and so I transitioned into wrestling, and I found that was something that really appealed to me. Once I finished that, I was left with a void. Where do I go from here? What is there to do? And I found fighting, and instantly I knew, like maybe some of you guys, you knew, this is my opportunity. This is my chance to get to that level that I'm trying to reach. And so I started training, and I had my first amateur fight after about 6 months of training, went out there and won, and it was a great feeling. And so I just slowly kept progressing a little bit, another fight, another win, another fight, another win, until all of a sudden I had 7 wins and no losses, and it's like maybe it's time to start making some money at this. So transitioned into professional fighting, and I realized that I was really going to have to make a big commitment to do that. So that's what prompted me to move out here to Salt Lake City. I'm from Virginia originally, and had to make some big changes. You've got to take that leap of faith. You really have to be committed. Saying it is one thing. Doing it is something altogether different. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't fully committed, do something, make a major change to really show that you are committed, that you're serious about what you're shooting for. And so I moved out here, and I don't know if you guys have heard of Jeremy Horn. He's a legend in the sport, one of the best, arguably, well, not hands down the most experienced fighter. The guy has over 160 fights with over 100 wins. I mean, it's outrageous. I knew for my fighting, I needed to get with somebody like that. I needed that type of a mentor, that type of a coach, because what I lacked was experience. So who better to draw from than the guy who has the most fights in the business and has beat some of the best names out there. So making that big change, moving out here, getting with him, that really started to progress and make my career take off. But it was still a process. There were still bumps in the road. Just like the chart there with the roller coaster, you're going to have ups and downs, and you have to expect that. And you have to decide, Bruce Lee said it best, you have to decide whether these are going to be stumbling blocks or stepping stones. How are you going to use them? You know, are you going to fall all over yourself and lay on the ground? Or are you going to use them to step up and rise above and continue to grow? And again, that growth could be small. It could be step by step. But you have to know that at any moment, it could take off. It could, you know, be that breakthrough moment for you. If you guys aren't following Demetrius on Instagram, you should. I'm going to steal something that he posted. There's an image on there, and it's a couple of guys mining. And there's one guy who's gung-ho, he's digging a tunnel. There's another guy who's a little bit further along, and you see him defeated and turning around and walking away. And right at the edge of that, not inches from where he stopped, was a huge hoard of diamonds. And he turned around and walked away from it. The other guy, he's barreling forward. Nothing's going to get in his way. That's the people that we want to be. That's what we want to emulate when we're trying to reach these goals. Fighting is the same way. Being your own boss, having your own business, being an entrepreneur, it's the same way. One phone call, one connection, one person could be that difference that takes you from barely getting by to skyrocketing. For me, it can be one fight. One fight that I win, you know, I get the call to be up and I'm fighting at the highest level. You know, I'm close right now. I'm knocking on that door. I fought for Bellator, which is arguably the #2 organization out there in MMA. I fought all around the world, throughout the country. But I'm waiting for that big break, and I know it's going to come. I know it is. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And that's a mindset that I bring with me that keeps pushing me. But if I stop and I turn around and things get hard, man, those diamonds could have been one more step. Even within a fight itself, you could be losing a fight. You see it all the time. You're watching guys and people are just getting beat on. And then all of a sudden, that one moment comes. That one punch turns the tide or knocks them out. They get the submission. Whatever it is, it can be moments away. So we've got to keep that in mind when we're working towards these goals, that at any moment it's there, and that mindset will continue to push you forward. And when things are rough, you've got to remind yourself of that. The other thing you need to keep in mind, when I coach some of my teammates and the people that I train to fight, I like to tell them, you know, it is in fact a team effort. It's not an individual sport. This is not an individual sport, what you guys are doing, all right? I know you're your own individual business and entity, but you're a team. We're a family. You need to draw on each other's strengths. That's why I have a multitude of coaches who are there helping me in different areas to push me. My teammates are helping me. I can't do it alone. I can't go and fight myself and get better at fighting. It would look ridiculous, and it also wouldn't do me much good. You know, I have to have partners. I have to have guys that are pushing me. We talk about iron, sharpening iron, and that's a mentality that we like to uphold it in our gym when we're training. And so you guys, you have to have those people. You have to have that support group. That's everything. I know that I haven't reached the level that I'm at today without having tremendous support from my wife, from my family. My parents came all the way out from Virginia to see us, and that means the world to me. And you know, that's the kind of support that you need to have. And if you guys don't have that, look around the room. There's about 43 people in here, maybe? No, closer to 50, I'd say. I just counted. I'm not that impressive. But turn to somebody. If you don't have that support group, This is your team. This is your family. Talk to them. Get their number. Surround yourself with people that are going to motivate you. Surround yourself with the greatest in the sport, in the industry. And you have that. You have access to that, and it's a great thing, but you have to utilize it. So, you guys, I'm really excited to be a part of this company. I'm very happy with what the products have done for me, and I hope that you guys can kind of draw from my experience, and I look forward to speaking with you and drawing from your experience as well, because, you know, as part of the Kyani team, you know, like I said before, my wins are your wins and vice versa. So we're all tied in this together. We're all working hard. I'm here as a resource if you guys want to learn how to fight, or if you just need some motivation. I'm here for that, and I look forward, like I said, to meeting all of you, working with you, and we can do some questions if you guys have. I don't know why we're looking on time, John. We're good. We're good? Okay. So that's really all I have to say. Like I said, I hope this gives you guys a little bit of a push. If we have any questions, like I said, I know that often there's a lot of stuff when it comes to the sport of MMA people are really curious about. I'll answer one of them right away, because I know this is in there somewhere. Yes, I can fight with a beard. No, they cannot pull a beard. That is illegal in the unified rules. Question over here?
Just how do you deal with failure?
With failure?
Loss.
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. So that was a tough one for me, because like I said, I had gone my amateur career. I had won 7 in a row. I turned professional and had won 3 in a row. So I'm sitting at 10-0 and had not lost a single fight. And I was feeling pretty good about myself. In fact, maybe a little too good. And so my very first loss came, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. In fact, it was quite a bit of a relief, because the pressure of being undefeated was actually starting to weigh on me, and it was inhibiting my performance. That fear of failure was actually preventing me from performing at my highest level. And so we see that a lot in all kinds of activities where people are afraid to really put themselves out there for fear of failure, and you can't have that. You know, there's going to be some doubt. It's only natural. I have yet to meet a person who says, no, I have no doubt, I have no fear. Even before you step out in the cage, there is a moment where you think, hey, this guy could beat me. That's really not my biggest fear. My biggest fear is actually just going out there and looking stupid. Winning and losing, I mean, I want to win, but what I don't want to do is look like an idiot. That's kind of, so, but you know, you consider that, and you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't, but the key is telling yourself and not entertaining that fight, telling yourself that, hey, I've put in the time, I've put in the work, and I know that nothing is going to prevent me from reaching this goal, winning this fight. So that's kind of the way I deal with it, and you know, I've been successful so far, but I'm not afraid of losing. It's not the end of the world. The sun came up the next day, my wife still loved me, my friends were still my friends, my parents still loved me. It happens. And I had a little bit of solace too, because I saw some of the best guys in the industry. They fought maybe the next week, and a guy who kills everybody, boom, gets knocked out. It's like, all right, well, you know, it happens. So, anything else? Yes, sir.
With the products, I'm sure you tried a bunch of different products before. What was it about Kyani that you really noticed the difference, being the extreme type of sport that you do?
Sure, absolutely. So for me, one of the biggest things, as you can see with the type of training I'm doing, it's pretty intense, and it wears on your body. And so while you may be able to go out and do that stuff one day, if you can't do it again the next day, and you have to take a week off because your body is broken, it doesn't really help. So being able to train at that level and then recover, and that's the biggest thing for me with the products is recovering. And I have noticed as well with the Nitro Extreme, there have been days where I've taken it, and I've been taking it for a while, and then there was a few days where, for whatever reason, I didn't have it with me. And it takes my training from a good training session to a great training session. I mean, that's kind of the difference. You know, it's not as though without it I can't perform at all, but the difference between good and great for what I'm trying to do is huge. You know, those are those little small gains that for me really keep me on the path. You know, I don't get to fight every single day, so it's hard for me to measure my success. So for me, I have to look at those little small increments. You know, if I have a great day of training versus good, that's a win. You know, so I have to look day to day, even workout to workout, rep to rep, whatever it is I'm doing. If I can achieves success in that, then that's an overall win. And all those little small, tiny wins are what's going to propel me to the big wins that really matter. Anybody else? Fight related, personal related, beer related. Yes?
How long have you been at Kyani?
I have been working with it for about 2 months now, so I'm still fairly new. But I've really been enjoying it so far. It's definitely made a difference. And I have, like you said, tried a lot of different products. And there's a lot of stuff out there, but not all of it's great. Not all of it, tastes good or really delivers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's made that's supposed to do a lot of good, but really doesn't come through on that because it's not made with the right stuff. So with my diet and the things that I'm trying to do, having those quality products is huge. Having something that's made well, as opposed to just putting junk in your body, is everything. 'Cause for me, my body is, a machine, and you have to put high-level stuff in order for it to operate properly. Yes.
How do you share this?
How do I share this? So personally, what I like to do, and there's a little plug here, I do a lot of my stuff through social media. So I have Twitter, I have a Facebook page, I have Instagram, Josh Tyler MMA. If you guys do those things, please follow me and like me and all that kind of stuff. But that's where I get most of my information out there, with my sponsors, with the people that I work for or work with. I really try hard because they help me out. I try to do the same to them. So for me, that's a good way to get that stuff out there because I have to spend my time training. Most of my day is spent doing that kind of stuff, so I can't run around and make a lot of phone calls and that sort of thing. But it is important to get the information out there, to represent my sponsors well, and so that's my vehicle for doing that. And it's a great opportunity for anybody, if you were trying to network and connect to people, to get on there. If you're not doing that already, I would highly recommend it. And like I said, follow me, Josh Tyler. I saw someone else. Yes, in the back.
What's the rest of your diet look like? How many calories? What proportion of protein?
Sure. So for me, the bulk of my diet is predominantly fats and proteins. It's minimal carbs, and honestly, the few carbs that I get come from sunrise. So I'll take that post-workout because that's, for me, the best time to get it in. But I try to stay in a state of ketosis, and that's a very technical term. You guys can look up the medical thing. But anyway, it's a high-fat, high-protein diet, minimal carbs, and it's really helped me a lot with maintaining my weight. My nutrition coach was talking about the way I was training and what I had to do. By switching that diet and not having it be so carb heavy, it allowed me to focus more of my time on actual MMA training and learning my craft, as opposed to going out and just running miles mindlessly. I still go out and run and I'll hike and do things in the mountain, but I was literally doing 10 miles a day, and spending hours doing that. I'm not a marathon runner. That's not my sport. So having that diet allows me to focus on the things I need to.
So follow up with that.
Sure.
Fats and proteins, what do you eat?
So for my proteins, I'm eating predominantly meat. So a lot of steak, a lot of beef, chicken as well, some fish. So it basically any kind of meat is fair game in that regard. And then for fats, I'm doing coconut oil, avocados, nuts, those sort of things. So it's healthy fats, and it's helping me. A lot of people shy away from red meat. I've found that it's actually helped a lot eating that. You look at a lot of my numbers and things, cholesterol and that sort of thing. They're actually really good, partly because I work out like a crazy person, but the diet helps. It helps facilitate that. And again, the products do that as well. I take the fish oils at the sunset. That's my evening. Right before I go to bed, I'll take some of those, and then before my workouts, I'm taking the nitro, and then after the workouts, I'm doing the sunset. Yes? Oh, I'm sorry, what was that? How much product? Oh, geez. It depends on how much training I'm doing, really. So I just fought, when was that fight? When was that fight, John?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. So, in preparation for that, I'm taking sunset after every session. I'm taking the nitro before every workout. So I'm probably taking it maybe 4 or 5 times a day. And then in the evening, I'm doing the sunrise after. my mistake. The sunset I'm taking in the evening. So I'm doubling up on that just because my nutritional demands are a little bit higher than average. So now that I'm not training as hard, by the way, I've got a fight March 28th. If you guys want to check that out too. Thank you for reminding me. That's going to be in Oklahoma. I'm defending a title. So after this week, once my family goes home, I'm going to get back into my training, and I'll be taking the products again 4 or 5 times a day, easily that many. And that's, for most people, probably a bit excessive, but not exactly like most people. So, yes?
You were saying it really helped with your recovery. Did you notice any difference in like your reflexes, your reaction time, that sort of thing?
Well, like when I said my training going from good to great, that's kind of the difference. So when I have a good training session, let's say I'm sparring and I'm boxing, you know, I'll see things, I'll connect with punches, I'll slip punches and move out of the way and that sort of thing on a good day. On a great day, I feel untouchable, to where even the best guys in the gym are having a hard time moving with me. Guys that are 2 or 3, 4 weight classes above, you know, I'm still putting them down on the canvas. Those are great days of training. And when I'm taking the product and I've been on it, those are the days that I tend to have. So, you know, reflex, cognitive, all that stuff, I mean, it's hard to really pinpoint where that's coming from, but it's a part of it, so it has to be there for sure. Anybody else think I answered most everything. Yes.
So, so do you train anyone, or do you train special, like, athletes, or?
So I do both. I do personal training and teach people who just want to learn about the sport, but I also help coach at our gym some of the younger guys who are newer to the sport, teaching them some of the mental. That's the biggest thing. I mean, anybody can learn the skill, but it's the mental stuff, just like was said before, 95% mental. It's true for this sport. So having gone through, having some experience, I coach middle school and high school wrestling as well, and so that really helped give me some insight how to motivate people and how to get them performing at their highest level. So that's something that I try to pass along, but I do that with people who are learning the sport casually as well. Cool. John, you want to come up? Awesome. Thank you guys so much.